So a friend of mine had an idea to get one of these little President Bill 2 FCC radios and run it with one of those little RM Italy amplifiers, which I think is a good idea and really funny because they're both tiny. But I couldn't find anything online other than the fact that you can adjust the power levels on this. I couldn't find anyone who had done it. I couldn't find ranges of power levels, what you could get out of them as far as dead key versus swing. So I'm going to make the video now showing what it'll do, what kind of adjustments you can get out of it. Now I've already done this, so I'm going to show how to do it, and I'm going to show what it does stock versus after the adjustments are made. And then I've just got a sheet here that I've got written out of roughly what you're going to get when you put it on these settings. I'm not going to make this a super long video. So let's get started on that. I'll adjust the camera, I'll show you what it's doing stock, and I'll show you how to make the adjustments, show you what it'll be doing at about where it needs to be set for the setup that this radio is going to be running. And then I'll tell you some other information, and hopefully that helps you out getting this rolling if you want to use this little radio for a driver. Okay, look at the bottom scale. Or on the bottom scale you can see all the settings. I'm not going to go over all of that. This is completely stock. Here we go. Dead keys right around 4. Audio. Swings with a whistle right at 10 watts. Now that's stock. Okay, so now let's make the adjustment on this. In order to do that, we've got to push both of these corner buttons, hold them in at the same time, while holding in the push to talk switch on the microphone, and turn the radio on. Now right here, you'll see that it says PL 133. PL is power level. It's going to say FM up here, so when you key up, you're not going to get any swing out of it. PL is your dead key. That is your power level is your dead key. You can adjust it by keying the microphone, pushing the push to talk button, holding it in, and using your rocker buttons to adjust it. I'm going to try something right now. Okay, yeah, the up and down buttons on the microphone, they will not adjust it. Has to be adjusted with these. So key up, and you can turn that down to wherever you feel like your dead key needs to be to run your particular amp that you're going to be running with this radio. Now, I didn't go down any farther, but I took this thing down to about 0.8 of a watt on a dead key. That was set on power level 70. That's what this particular radio did on power level 70. It was a dead key of just under a watt. I would call it about 0.8 watts. So where this one is most likely going to be ran is probably around power level 80. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that now, and you can hold this down and it will run all the way down to 80. And that's that. Now, to adjust your modulation, you'll want to go down 2 clicks to AL. That's audio level. Now, this is in AM mode, and it's going to show you swing. So as you adjust this, once you're in this menu, you can go ahead and key up, speak, whistle, however you want to do it, into the microphone, and you will see modulation on your meter. And you can adjust the swing to wherever you need it to be for your particular amp. This one, I'm going to set all the way down to 50. It's a little bit backwards. I was a little confused at first, but if you want your swing to go up, you turn the level down. It's on level 70 now. It will not go lower than 50. 50 is the lowest. and 50 is what this one will be ran on, most likely, unless the owner of the radio decides to do something different. But I think 50 is where this is going to want, he's going to want this to run at. So we'll go ahead and adjust that. Take this all the way down to level 50, and it'll stop right there. Now that's going to give us maximum modulation on this little radio. Now once you make your adjustments and you have it wherever you want, and as I said, you can key up and go ahead and modulate and adjust this and watch your meter and put it wherever you want it. In this particular case, we want maximum modulation. It actually would be better if it would swing a little bit more, but it doesn't do too bad. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video right there after I shut this off, because that's how you save the settings. I'm going to pause that right there. Go ahead and kick that back on. I'm going to adjust the camera, and then we'll be right back, and I'll show you what this thing's doing now that those adjustments are made. Okay, here it is on the meter. This is after the adjustments have been made. Our dead key, right at 1 watt. Audio. And it swings right around 3 watts. And as I said before, that is maximum modulation as far as this radio will let us go with it, as far as the secret menu or hidden menu settings. You may be able to open it up and get it to do a little more. I have no idea. That's not what I'm going to be doing with this one. Hooked to a test amplifier. This thing was keying 40 and swinging 100 with those settings. So not too bad, not ideal, but really not too bad, especially for a tiny little setup. It's pretty cool. Neat little package. Don't see much tiny little amps doing 100 watts, and you can turn it up and get it to do a little more. Now I had this keying 2 and swinging 5, and on those settings it would key the amp at 50 and swing 150. So you can use your own, your own judgment if you think that's better. And every amp's going to be different. I'm just giving an example of kind of how this thing drives. But it will definitely work. I don't think it's going to burn up the amplifier. I think it's going to work just fine. Got a good report on how it sounded. So yeah, hopefully this helps you out. I couldn't find any info. I think the tiny little radio with the tiny little amp is a great idea. Going to be a really cool little setup, unique. But yeah, if you're wondering, if you're debating on whether you should buy one of these little bill radios to run as a driver, I would do it. It depends on what you're trying to drive with it and what your end goal is. But if you just want a lot of power in a small little package, yeah, I think something like a KL60 or a KL203 with one of these little bill radios would pair up. Not quite perfect, but pretty daggone good. I think it would. I think you'd be happy with it. So I'm not going to end it there. I'm going to show you this list here. Now, this is the settings. That is the dead key that it gave me. That's the swing. And this is with running the amplifier. Now, as I said, every amp's going to be different, but this is just a reference to kind of give you an idea. So there's the power levels of roughly what it's going to put out with the amp. Like I said, it's just an example. Your amp's going to run a little bit different, even if it's the same brand. A lot of times they run a little bit different, but hopefully this will help you out.